All right, so the next portfolio up is Baker the Game Maker, Andrew Baker. Baker. Oh, you're in Texas too. Cool. Dude, I love seeing like always watching, never sleeping. I love that like portfolios that we view are like from all over the place. It's the coolest thing. Thanks, Curious, for the link. And Tej for the next portfolio. So Andrew Baker. I actually know an Andrew Baker from a long time ago. How crazy is that? Like I remember when he joined Bungie, and we're like, oh, I wonder what they're working on, which later turned out to be Destiny. That was like 2 years before it even made its debut. Yes, so we've got the Polycount Monthly Environment Art Challenge. This looks pretty sick. I like the map presentation on here. The poly count is a little heavy, but I mean, when it comes down to it, if the asset looks good and you're not like, you know, trying to make it game ready, it's a challenge. You're just trying to make it look good, right? So this looks pretty cool. Man, I really like the other viewer these days, Sketchfab versus Marmoset. I'm like, what is it called again? It's continue to expand on what it delivers. I would if you get a chance, I would try bringing this into Sketchfab and see what it looks like. It's only 4 months old, so I expect you might have the assets still. This looks good though. The attention to detail is pretty nice. In here, it gets a little confusing. I think there just might be too much going on in the material, so it becomes kind of difficult to read the. Like, there's just a lot of information happening. Like, it's already so detailed in the geometry and stuff that it's probably better to just leave that to the surface and the normal map that you'd baked out to kind of depict everything and keep the materials rather simple. And then maybe like, yeah, there's just a lot going on in there, I guess. That's all I'm trying to say. And like, these look like, this material's pretty interesting, but then like, there's a lot of information happening in each one of those, so it's kind of like a visual overload again. I think you might, let me see here. Let me double check. Oh, whoops. Hang on. So you have a lot of information happening in every map, and a lot of the times you can leave a lot of that information in the roughness. That's why the roughness is so important. Like, some of the dirtiness and stuff can actually only be in the roughness, and then it will look more realistic just because it's reacting to the lighting and not so much like all of the maps. Graffiti, what's up, man? Binary, I am doing your portfolio today. It is true. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult. I think that like, yeah, there's just a lot of information happening. In some areas, like, this area is so big that it works because there's rest. There's areas of rest on the surface. So like when you move the camera around, you get to have these little treats. These little treats of detail. But yes, let's keep going here so we can look at some other stuff. So it says you're an environment artist. That's kind of like, I guess it'd be part of an environment. Maybe there was like 30 of these and they're on like an assembly line making the Tesla Model 20 or something. This looks sick. That material definition is pretty spot on. The attention to the detail on the normal there. I don't know if, like, I think the Marmoset viewer doesn't allow for detail normal maps. But I think if you should check Sketchfab to see if they do detail normals. I'm not sure either on that one, but detail normals are almost always the reason that a material will look more realistic. You started using Unity? Very good. Very good. I'm excited, Graffiti. In general, this is pretty sick, and I always check to see if someone rifles the inside of their pistol, or their weapon, for that matter. Marmoset has detail normals? Does it have it on the viewer? Because I know the viewer doesn't have everything. Dude, you even have the little safety on there. It's pretty sick. Willie Spoon just said that's a real nice Glock, dude. That's a pretty big compliment, man. Anyways, this looks sick. I think what's really carrying it is the roughness differences, or the gloss variation, and how it's selling the material itself. But yeah, dude, look at these. Oh man, that's a nice render there. This looks way better than the viewer. Yeah, that's pretty hot. So this one is actually my favorite as well, Tej. It's just got the, I mean, you can feel the oil, the hotness of it all. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, dude, that's freaking. Mm-hmm. So the only thing I think I would say is that the height on this egg is topping out, so you're seeing like the cap of it. I don't know if you modeled it, or if that was done with Dedo, or you thought the egg was in the shape of a heart. Oh my god, that'd be amazing, dude. This is exactly how I like my sausage. A little burnt, a little crispy. Yeah, these bubbles look great. Anyways, we're looking too close at that. Look at that. You zoom out and you're like, wait, what? Wait, there's more? So this looks pretty awesome as well. Very nice. This asset also looks very good. It could use maybe some, let me see here. So it's got variation in the gloss, but I guess it's just not really coming through. Nice reflectivity. Yeah, this looks, I mean, this is solid, man. That Geo, though, holy shenanigans. Look at this. That's amazing. I can't be mad about that. It's doing exactly what the material looks like. I'd be curious to see how you optimize that. But it looks nice, yes. Yes, it does. Oh. Oh, look at that attention. The softness of it all. Yeah, this is nice. Nice job. That glow. Is that glow in the, yeah. Yeah, that glow is just in the emissive. Nicely done. Yeah, so you've, unless that's a light, I'm not sure if there's a light in there or not, but that looks pretty cool. Yeah, there's a light in there of some sort. I'm like trying to see it at a different angle. That's pretty well done, man. Let's see what else we got here. Oh yes. Oh, this looks pretty good. I like it. It's not it doesn't have the darkness problem that we were seeing before, and it does look like things are attached to the wall now, which is really good. It is dark back there, but like we can do the test so you can see like what that means. For anyone who has not seen the test before, you just you make a layer, you fill it with your favorite horrible color, for this scene, maybe we do that, right? And then we put it behind it, and then double click this layer, and then we start clipping the lowest range. What's this one do? Oh, so blend if gray, and then this layer. So basically you're making the blackest ranges more gray, and when they hit that gray point, they blend into the layer below them. So this is a good way to check for dark spots. So I mean, for the most part, I think if you were to take that information and lighten it up just a little bit, that would probably do the trick. And see, there's so little information that's blacked out like that. Nothing darker than 0.4. I mean, it depends. It depends what you're going for, right? Because at the end of the day, it's more of like a artistic choice as well, right? But because the range is there, or it's not all like pitch black in those darkest areas, you can turn it up a little bit without it cracking, per se. So I can do this and then just kind of bring that up. So that range there feels much more nice to me. Mo better. Relative darkness. The 0.4 rule is usually a pretty good one. The other thing is I wouldn't ruin your screenshots with this stuff down here, just because, and this, because if people are seeing it, it's already on your portfolio. They see your name here, right? They already know how to get a hold of you. Oh, these are nice. So this is where like, this mud might be a little too saturated. Let me see. Whoa. No, it's still within range. I'm usually a fan of like, I'm that sad desaturated type of guy. You apply the 0.4 rule to all of your albedos. I've done that in a game before. In production. Like, wow, these all came back and they're horribly out of range. And then you're just like bringing them into range. So the 0.4 rule is like, if I remember correctly, is how dark something how dark a pixel is. So if a pixel goes below the 0.4 value range, you're usually too dark. All right, Graffiti. Cheers, man. Peeps would be seeing you soon. I'm sure of it. So like if you sample like this area here. Where are we at here? Hue, saturation, brightness, RGB. I think it's... No, I'm looking at this all wrong. Man, it's been a while. I just eyeball it these days. Not at work, of course, but you know. I just like, oh man, that looks way too dark. Or that looks way too saturated. This albedo? Yeah. Yes, you probably want to do something like... something more in that range. I do like the color variety, so you probably want to like break it up with a little bit of color. Usually where things are wet, that's where you're going to get that color and saturation, and the value will go down. That's the other reason that the albedo might be kind of dark, is because you're creating a wet material. What I would usually suggest is, and if you want to really start impressing people, is start making your albedo in its dry state, and then make a map to the side. That's just called your what's the name? My brain is like fried today, guys. What is the name of that texture map called? Porosity. Your porosity map. So you have a map that's called porosity, and that's how porous the material is, right? I've talked about this in a few other videos, but like use that map to increase saturation and bring down the value of a material based on how porous it is. So if the material is highly porous, like dirt, porous means it'll soak up a lot of water. This is a map that's not really used much right now. But for you who don't know it, yeah. So basically, if it's a really porous material, it soaks up water, and when it soaks up water, it decreases in value, so it becomes darker, and it also increases in saturation. Those exact values kind of vary, and it's not really. There's a science to it, definitely, but each material will have a different kind of porosity value to it. Now, if you made a map to the side here that actually shows your understanding of porosity, and that is being applied to the material, so like you see the color here, but over here it actually looks correct. Oh, it has a nice reference. Okay, hang on here. Oh, porosity. Dude, awesome. Yeah, because if you look at things like marble doesn't usually absorb water, right? And it tends to stay the same color. Or if you notice, I don't know how you actually apply it well. I know you can apply it to get the implied effect, but applying it technically correct, I'm not sure. But like marble, for example, doesn't become darker, right? Because it's not very porous. It doesn't soak in the water. When you look at sidewalks, you'll notice that you spill water on a sidewalk, and you'll see the concrete and the little pebbles and stuff start to separate in value and in color. That's because they're reacting differently to the water and how they're being saturated with wetness. But yeah, overall this portfolio is pretty sick, man. I would love to have one more scene. But yeah, this is a nice portfolio. I love that. This is one of the rare occasions where I'm okay with the asset being outside of the scene in your portfolio. And I think as far as these materials go, I think they're fine. I wouldn't have them as the most immediate material, maybe like between your props and your challenges. And yeah. It's a good portfolio, though. Making noises. Anyways, well done on this. Yes, I need to move on to the next portfolio. Thanks for submitting this, Andrew. It's good stuff. Be right back.